fast Ramadan, and Ramadan falls on the 9th month of the lunar calendar. The 9th month of the lunar calendar. We follow the solar calendar here, which is 365 days. Lunar calendar, I believe, is 354 days. So that's why sometimes Muslims fast in the month of July or August, is because it's dependent on the lunar calendar. Muslims do not eat or drink or perform sexual activities from dawn till sunset, and this has to do with self-discipline. In this month, now, I'm not saying that eating is unlawful, drinking is unlawful. No, it's lawful, but we try to refrain or abstain from doing lawful things so that after Ramadan it becomes harder for us, or it becomes easier to restrain from unlawful acts. For example, I know that I can eat bananas, but I'm not eating bananas because it's a month of Ramadan. Because I can control myself by doing this, I have this mental attitude that, well, if I can do this, then I can save myself from doing bad things. I will not murder other people. You see what I'm trying to say? So it gives you an opportunity. This month is basically an opportunity to control yourself, be disciplined, and of course to sympathize with the poor people. SubhanAllah. And when I say SubhanAllah, it means praise be to God. Alright, sorry. It's just natural, like I often say SubhanAllah, so like praise be to God. Pilgrimage, I've mentioned pilgrimage, circumambulating the Kaaba, and it's only for those who are able. So if someone is disabled, doesn't have the financial means, then it's not obligatory upon him, but one should strive for going there. Once in a lifetime only, and it has a universality of the religion in which people are united from all walks of life. And they just wear this same simple cloth, usually in white. So one will not know if he's a millionaire or if he's underprivileged. Everyone is the same. On the side of God, same status. Do you know who is this man? Malcolm X. Malcolm X. Malcolm X. Okay. Malcolm X. Now he was a Muslim, and before he embraced the mainstream Islam, he had racist views towards the white people. Maybe it's because of how the black people were oppressed by the whites. I'm not quite sure of the reason, but he had racist views towards the white.
There's a Nation of Islam.
Yes, NOI.
Yeah.
Nation
He also wrote a book.
Sorry?
He also wrote a book.
He wrote a book, and yes, I'm going to quote from his book.
Yes.
I'm going to quote from his book. After the pilgrimage, after going here, so he saw people from different walks of life, and he saw white people there for sure. And he changed his view. He wrote in his biography, I have eaten from the same plate, drunk from the same glass, slept in the same bed, while praying to the same God with fellow Muslims. Now he's going to make reference to the white people, whose eyes were the bluest of blue, whose hair was the blondest of blonde, and whose skin was the whitest of white. And in the words and in the actions, in the deeds of the white Muslims, I felt the same sincerity that I felt among the black African Muslims of Nigeria, Sudan, and Ghana. After this, he embraced the mainstream Islam, which has no racist views whatsoever. Okay? The Nation of Islam is an organization founded in America that support black supremacy, basically. And in Islam, I've told you earlier, everyone is the same. All right? Everyone is the same, regardless of color. So, subhanAllah, it's a lifetime experience, and life-changing experience, I should say. So basically, we're done with M65, meaning, beliefs, and deeds. Very quickly, can someone tell me the meaning of Islam? Let me see if you guys can get it correct. Let me ask. Can I ask you the meaning of Islam? Yes. It's a quiz.
According to your presentation, I think Islam means, first of all, it's a religion, and it means the Muslim, they have their beliefs on the Islam, and they do some how to say, deeds to daily deeds and
That's good. So submitting oneself to God. That's very good. Thank you. This is a gift for you. Okay. Okay. 6 beliefs. Can Brother Martin, can you mention one belief that has been presented? If you can remember.
Yes. Remember means what?
There were 6 beliefs, right?
Believe.
Yeah. Just mention one.
Just mention one. They are messengers.
Messengers. Thank you. And this is one for you. Okay. Can you mention one belief? I know you were late, so I'm not sure if you were in that part. But one belief out of the 6 beliefs. So he mentioned messengers. It's okay. I'll come back to you. You can take some time to think about it.
I can tell, but my request is give the gift to our sister.
Okay, okay.
Believe in God and
Oh, okay, you believe in God. Don't tell the others. Here you go.
yeah, what happens?
Dr. Abdul will spoil the fun. You will get all the gifts.
I know, but I just want to let him
Okay.
take the gift.
Yeah, sure, sure. Can you mention a belief besides God, messengers, there are 4 more amongst the 6 beliefs?
Angels.
Angels, here we go.
Very nice.
Sorry,
It's okay.
yeah. Can brother, can you mention one?
The day of resurrection.
The day of resurrection, very good.
Yeah.
Can you mention one?
Second page.
Sorry? Allah, yes, he mentioned that already. There's still 2 more. The last one and the books, yeah, scriptures. And what's the 6th belief, brother?
You may refer to the notes.
Yeah.
Divine.
I'm helping, right? Sadaqah, charity. 5 deeds. Can someone tell me the 5 deeds? Mariam, mention one deed. I know
If you want to give
the gift. No, she knows it, but she doesn't want to say. Very humble. Very humble. You don't like to show off your knowledge. MashaAllah. All right, 1. Sister Nadia, can you give me mention a deed?
Zakat.
Pillar of Islam, zakat. Okay. Brother, can you mention one? Pilgrimage. Here we go. Sister over there.
Prayer.
Prayer. And what's the other one? So shahada, prayer, zakat,
fasting.
fasting. Oh, fasting. Who mentioned fasting? I'll keep this.
You know,
I still have some more. Sorry, sisters. Other questions I'll ask you. Alright. First come, first serve. Q&A. Any questions? You can ask any questions you want. I can tell you have a question. Oh, you have a question?
You said you pray in on any pure spot
Yes.
on the earth. So how do you distinguish the pure and the dirty? It's just is a clean place or not, or a place not clean.
So you're asking that how do you distinguish if a place is
Yes.
pure or clean,
Yeah.
and what is not considered to be clean or pure?
Yes.
2 things. There's a hadith that comes into my mind. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned that any place of the earth is pure and clean for you to pray, except in washrooms
and
and-
graves.
and graveyards. So anywhere else you can pray. Now, it's another topic, another presentation is needed for this, like where to, what is required, what are the essential requirements. But basically, if it's clean, if it doesn't have any urine or feces, if you're stepping on something which is not good, like urine or feces, then of course you cannot really pray. It's not pure. And what is pure is this. For example, if it's only dust, it's okay. It's only dust, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So I can play, not play. Well, actually, once or twice, I play basketball. I love playing basketball, and it's time for prayer, and I cannot miss my prayer because I'm a Muslim. And so I pray basically near the basketball court. You see what I'm trying to say? Although people may step there with their shoes, but there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just dust, right? And I have a prayer mat with me in the bag, and thank you, Sister Nadia. It's the same one you gave me, and we'll reward you for that. Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome. Any other questions? Please feel free. No question is so be quick.
I'm concerned about money.
Hmm.
So you have to give money, right? Because I know like as Christians, they also have to donate money. But how about if I have money, but I don't want to give? So any kind of punishment or? I mean, all you say is just that, like as a Muslim, you have to follow. How about if you don't follow? So
Good
what
question.
will happen?
So the question is, if a person is a Muslim, but he or she does not pay the zakat, what will happen? What are the consequences? Now in that case, of course, there's going to be communication. Not like, oh, you didn't pay, well, okay, something bad will happen to you. There's going to be communication like, why you didn't pay? And what's going to happen is, there's in-depth discussion, and at the end, one should pay if he or she is a Muslim, because this is an obligatory act upon a Muslim. And Muslims believe that by paying money, it doesn't decrease your wealth, it increases it. In USA, the tax rate, now you've got, what do you call that, GST tax? Sales tax, you have sales
General
tax.
sales tax.
General sales tax everywhere. In Canada, you have VHS, something like that, I forgot. They actually have two types of taxes in Canada. And we pay that tax, and on top of that, in America, they have a very high tax rate, which is approximately somewhere in 20 to 30% tax rate, which is much more than Islam. Islam, what, at least 2.5% annually. I only pay 2.5% annually, and it's actually very good.
But you will record it. I mean,
Sorry?
I mean, if I'm Muslim, I have to pay to an organization, or how you can know? Like,
Is this
I
paying
don't
to the government
understand.
or paying to the mosque or paying to home?
You pay to the, Brother Martin and Dr. Haq have more knowledge because they're more senior than me, but as far as I know that you pay to the Islamic head, the organization in that residing country. So in Hong Kong, it would be the Islamic Corporation of Trustees. You pay to them, and they would distribute it amongst the poor people.
Oh, you mean you will have the record and list?
No, not necessary to pay organization. Not necessary to pay organization. You can see your neighbor or your relative or any friend.
Oh.
You must look if he needs money. Then you can pay.
Actually, in Islam, this is a very, organized system of collecting this money, zakat, that we call it zakat, and also its distribution. And the people can be employed for this distribution, and that can be given the pay or the salary within this collected amount, because this is a very organized system in Islam. If everybody individually distribute or pay zakat, then the money of the zakat cannot be properly distributed among the needy or the poor people. So it's better in Islamic states, it's the obligation of the state level to collect this money, not from everybody. There is a certain level that who is under this zakat net. Not every, you have to attain a certain level of your wealth. Then this 2.5% applies on you, otherwise not. So if you are within that net of the zakat, then those government officials, they can collect money from you, and then they have a system organized to distribute among the needy people. But if you think that the people you know very well, and then you can also pay individually, but that is apart from that, that is called sadaqah, charity.
That means there will be a system helping in order
Yes.
to distribute to the poor.
Yes.
That is good, right?
Yes.
And from your heart, you can still help the poor, and it's another thing.
And one thing more about your question, actually, you think it's my money, and then why should I don't want to give? Actually, this is not our money. In the Holy Quran, Allah says, this give the zakat, this money that I have bestowed upon you. Mimma razaqnakum, in the Holy Quran says. This is actually is not our money. Who gave us the intellect, this intelligence to use, the hands to work, eyes to see? Whose?
Because as I know that, because I have no concept about this.
No, this
religion.
all these
But like the Buddhist, like Buddhism or Christianity in Hong Kong, they will not have like that kind of system. They just from your heart. You want to donate and then you donate. You understand? So
Yeah,
I'm so interested to know that there will be a system.
This is
like
very
that.
systemized and organized. The way of distribution.
Just to make another point is, besides this, a Muslim can still donate at any time.
Yeah.
Apart from this,
Of course.
anytime.
Even other religion.
This is the minimum, the obligatory.
Yeah. Thank Thank you.
That's a very good question.
And this is not our money. This is the money that Allah gave us. Within among that money, we have to actually give to the poor.
And actually, it shows for Muslims your level of honesty. Because actually, nobody can actually check how much you decide. Yeah, you have to decide and check. And if you don't know, you have to ask somebody to help you calculate your zakat. But actually, if in the final analysis you don't give, then nobody can really catch you. But at the same time, a lot of people have realized that if you don't give your zakat properly, it not actually purifying your wealth actually gives a problem for yourself, for your physical self, for your spiritual self. So actually giving this zakat actually helps you purify yourself, and at the same time, it's not like, for example, probably the Buddhists or the Christians who consider that if you want to be pure or you want to be holy, you cannot engage in normal, human endeavors. For us, it's different. You can be as good and at the same time engage in marriage, in family, in all these obligations. At the same time, if you fulfill your minimum, obligations, then you are sure that you are trying to purify yourself. It's not like disengaging from the normal human activities at all in order to be able to become holy or spiritual. So everything can be like a middle way that you can enjoy life, but at the same time realize the Creator, in another aspect.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, I have, I think to ask about the 5 Ds.
The 5 Ds, yes.
Yeah, I just wonder if someone is, I'll put it this way, not able to or failed to, for example, fasting in the month of Ramadan and even to making a pilgrimage, will he or will she at the end of the day be denounced as a Muslim?
Now, this,
Even though, do you understand what I mean?
I understand your question. So your question is, for example, a person is a Muslim, but amongst the 5 deeds, he only does, let's say, 3 out of the 5, and he doesn't do, let's say, fasting or pilgrimage. Does that make him less of a Muslim, or does that make him not a Muslim at all? What happens? That's a very good question. Now, I checked this up, I looked at this, and it's interesting. It's open to multiple interpretations. Different schools of thought have different interpretations. The mainstream interpretation is that if one, now this will be dependent upon God. If all religions, divisions basically say that, okay, it depends on God's decree. It's up to God because God knows best the condition why he or she did not fast. Was it because of he or she had this medical illness, or he or she cannot perform pilgrimage because he really had a severe leg problem and he needed medications and stuff like that. If the reasons are very strong, then it's no problem. But if it's done on purpose, if it's done like, hey, I'm a Muslim but I don't care about fasting, hey, forget about that. Given that's an obligatory act, that really depends on God, let me put it this way. It's up to God to decide, but Muslims are obliged. They should be doing these things.
Okay. Can I ask one
sure,
more?
continue.
Because particularly for the pilgrimage, it's so stated that for those who are able, in the world that we are living in, it's very easy for us to say we are able to do something and we are not able to do something. And how could we are not God, we are not from above.
True.
How can I say that during my lifetime I'm able to make the pilgrimage, or I'm not able to make the pilgrimage?
So your question is
Because if I can give up everything, I must be able to reach that place just for reaching there, if I leave everything aside. So in that sense, I'll be able to do that. But if I take everything into consideration, then maybe I would make a statement that I'm not able to do that. And how would I be able to face God
right
on this?
So your question is, in other words, is that different people have different interpretations of the conditions, like, oh, I really cannot go because I'm not fit, but hey, I'm very fit, I can actually go. A person who is disabled, he will say, I'm not fit. So, but we know that, hey, I'm actually fit, I can go. But I consider myself, I have a subjective perception that I cannot go. Now, to be honest, it's dependent upon a person. If he thinks that he cannot go because he has a very strong excuse, then hopefully, God willingly, that will be exempted. That deed will be exempted from him. But it depends on God. Let me put it like this. Because one of the names of God is the just. He knows what's in our heart. And we believe that he knows better than we do of ourselves. He's closer to us than we are to ourselves. There's actually an ayah in the Quran in chapter 2 that he's closer to us than our jugular vein. A vein is very close to us, it's like tight knotted. But he's closer to us, he knows our heart. So if a person thinks that given all the circumstances, I cannot go, then on the day of judgment, you will talk to God. There will be a fair trial. Talk to God, God will reason with you, and your own hands and your legs will speak. They will testify, the correct word, testify, they will speak. Well, the feet will say, well, I could walk, it wasn't a problem. Like for me, for example, if I didn't go, and I'm like, God, I really couldn't go, I'm so tired, and I have so many things to do at home, I'm a busy man, God, I'm really sorry, I wasn't able to perform this obligatory deed upon the Muslim. God will say, well, for example, did you see that old man? He didn't even have legs, but he still came. See what I'm trying to say? You had legs, you didn't come, and your feet will testify, if it's true, that I indeed have the power, I had the strength to go, but I did not go. So it's case by case. It's case by case, and the judgment, the ultimate judgment will be when a person meets God during the day of resurrection, the day of judgment.
There is one verse in the Holy Quran about that's the obligation of the Hajj, the pilgrimage, that the verse goes like this: وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. I mean, for those people, it's actually the word is properly not the able, it's affordability. Those people who can afford, in terms of their physical conditions and in terms of their financial standing. So this actually is the meaning of this verse here. If someone has enough money to support his journey, I mean the expenses come and go back, and physically fit, then the fifth deed applies to that person. Then he has no excuse. Not that it's my own statement that I am able or not able. Actually it applies the affordability, because you have to go, you have to bear the expenses. This one condition, the financial, and the another one is the physical. You are physically fit, because you have to do a lot of, the physical, the exertion there. So if you can afford all this, then you go. So this is not the able, this means affordability, physically and financially both. And then you make a strong conviction, then you will go.
Then one more thing that is very interesting. So does it mean that the pilgrimage itself actually mean someone who tried to be Muslim or believe
after become Muslim?
After.
It's not to become a Muslim.
Okay.
Once you are in Islam, then this is the obligation.
Okay.
Once in a lifetime. Not
Okay.
every day like this, 5 times a day. Once in a lifetime.
Okay.
You might be thinking. So
Okay.
once in a lifetime.
So if I understand it,
Yes.
as what you have been trying to tell me,
Yes.
this deed is to be physically in this holy ground to be making this pilgrimage.
Yes, when you enter in Islam, when you became a Muslim, you embraced Islam. After that, this obligation applies on you.
Once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime.
But that doesn't mean you cannot visit more than once. You can visit
As
many
much
times.
as.
Yeah. The minimum is once.
But
Given that you're financially able to and physically able to.
if you're not, then this obligation is not on you. Not on you. Then you will not be accountable for that.
I think Sister Nadia wants to make a point. You've been raising your hand for a while. So
Yes.
It's just you have to consider the historical context. Like before, people from China, it would take them like minimum 6 months to be able to reach Makkah. And a lot of them actually, some of the scholars they had before, got lost. And they ended up, so many years in a certain place. Learning at the same time, of course. But So the conditions probably of affordability and probability depends on the historical period. Of course now, then a lot, you can see there are 2 million at least coming every year because the probability of them being able to afford, having the time, is a lot more than previous eras.
Convenience of the transportation means and the journey. I remember when I was a primary school student, the people from my town, they go 6 months beforehand the pilgrimage starts because they use the ship by sea. And then they have to go by road to the sea, and then they have to take ships, and then it takes a very lengthy process. But now you just go take a ticket, go to the airport, within 4 days you come back. Just it takes just take 3 hours by here. Very simple. But before it took months and months. No,
6 months?
Yeah. Really, I'm not joking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pakistan, from where? Pakistan or?
Yeah, Pakistan.
Pakistan, right?
Yeah. And people at that time used the only way was ship because we from the Arabian Sea, from Karachi, only way, no other way to go to Mecca.
And in fact, some people would die on the way.
Yes.
But the reward you get is equal to, because you had the niyyah to go.
Intention.
Yeah, the intention to go.
Intention, even you didn't perform the Hajj, your intention was there, you were on the way to Mecca. So your intention is to go there, so you have the full reward.
So when I go there, if I can afford it, I have the time, I'm able to. If I go there twice, does it make me more sincere, more
No
faithful?
reward, yeah. It's the bonus.
In Islam, I would say it depends on the quality. Quality precedes quantity. So if I just go there and I'm like not concentrating, I'm thinking of games. So
You're not counting the numbers.
That's
Like,
You're not counting
You
the
mentioned about
Okay.
the going there by sea. And in the old time, it takes many months to reach there.
Yes.
Now we just,
Yeah.
Yes.
a few hours we reach there already. So maybe
Yes.
many
No,
people
very convenient.
can afford the transportation to go there many times.
And actually a
That's
lot
why
of
more time means more sincere.
Interestingly, a group from Islamic Concentrate Memorial College, around I think more than 30 people along with the teachers. The group have recently, now they are in the two holy places, Mecca and Medina.